Mic test, mic test. Can you hear me? Can you see me? All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to today's Tenderby live sharing session. All right, I am teacher Hetty. Okay, we're waiting for a couple more of your friends, all right, to join us. By the meantime, let's reveal our rules in this class, all right? So once again, welcome to the live sharing session. This is a 15-minute long session where we share tips and tricks about writing. All right, where we share tips and tricks about writing. Okay. All right. So if you do have any questions or if you're answering to any question that I posted, all right, that I asked in class, feel free to participate in the chat box. All right. You should be able to see the chat. You should be able to see the chat box somewhere. All right, on the panel. Okay. Your messages can only be seen by me, Teacher Hetty, so don't worry, all right? Anything you can share. Don't worry if your answer is wrong or anything. Be there to participate. It's more about the effort that you put into trying, all right? Okay, and if there are really long answers or really complicated questions that you wish to ask, there's also a microphone function available, which means once you're unmuted, the entire class will be able to hear your voice, just like everyone's hearing Teacher Hetty's voice right now. All right, so the microphone is reserved for long answers or long questions, all right? Okay, any questions so far? Anything you guys want to share? Nope? All right. Okay, so we are at lesson 5 already. We've been through 4 lessons talking about the story where James punched Steve. All right, so that was our main story plot here. And we're at lesson 5 here, and this lesson is about speech and characteristics. Hello, Evangeline. Welcome. Hello, Muting. All right, this lesson is about speech and characteristic or personality of your character. Okay, so speech is a very important part in our writing, and with speech, we can make our characters come alive more. But there's one important thing about writing speech is that you have to write it carefully and meaningfully. If you're just randomly writing a long page of speech, all right, where you could have summarized it in a sentence or two, that would be considered very repetitive, very wordy, and it would actually hurt your score. So dialogue is about less, all right? Less is more for dialogue, all right? And we want to make the 1 or 2 lines of dialogue that we write in our story to really stand out, to really showcase our character's personality. So that's what we are going to learn today. What are the good ways to write dialogue? How can we show personality through dialogue? And of course, how do you show the fact that they are speaking? Is said the only word you can use? Of course not. All right, a little quick recap. So we learned last week that motive for actions should be clear and logical, and that it should be described with exact actions and reasons. All right, so no vague motives. All right, because you're a bad person. Okay, why is that person bad? Your motive has to be a little more detailed than that. Because you kicked the puppy. Okay, now we know that's a bad person, right? All right. Okay, teacher Hetty is happy or teacher Hetty is sad. These are very vague descriptions. You guys can do a lot better than that. Teacher Hetty is excited to teach the class. Teacher Hetty is sad that our 6th lesson session will be ending soon. All right. Provide reasons behind your character's actions or feelings. All right, so that's motives that we talked about last week. Your homework, all right, your after class exercise for last week was to fill in the sentence. All right, to fill in the sentence. So we have a story here. Steve tackled James onto the ground, pin him down. That's enough, Steve hissed. Why did you punch me? All right. So James blank, and James said, "You deserve it." All right, and it's up to you to finish the dialogue. Oops. So here are some of your answers. All right, some of your answers. First one sharing here, Evangeline's. All right, James folded his arms and shouted, "You deserved it. You have to pay me back the money." All right. Okay, looks like we have a reason here. We have a reason why James started the fight. Because Steve owes him money and refuses to pay him back. That's a very valid reason, right? I mean, having a fight might not be the best solution, but it's a very valid reason why James could have punched Steve. All right, and Evangeline uses the action, folded his arm, and the speech tag shouted. Very good job. All right, very good job. Okay, you have to pay me back the money. That's a very dialogue. All right, it sounded like something you would say. So a very good job, Evangeline. Perfect answer. All right, there's one more answer that's from Ariel. All right, James gritted his teeth and furiously shouted. Very good actions and speech tag here. You deserved it. You should not have done it in the first place. All right. Once again, a very lively dialogue, all right? Something you would actually say in your real life. However, Ariel, what is the it that Steve has done? All right. Okay, you could be a little more specific here. Did Steve not return James money? Did Steve purposely trip James, making him fall? All right, did Steve call James bad names? What is the thing that Steve should not have done first? All right, so that's a little more detail and it would be a perfect answer. All right, but anyhow, very good job, Ariel. All right, so these are some of your answers, and I see that you've learned the tricks that we taught in class. All right, so today we're going to go into a little more about dialogue. All right, speech and the personality speech shows. All right, so a character could ask, why would you do that? Or the character could say, why on earth would you do that? All right. You see how I read these two dialogues differently? It's because these two dialogues have different underlying emotions. Even without speech tags or actions, we can feel that the characters have different emotions when they speak the two lines. All right, so the first line, the character's probably wondering, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Whereas in the second speech, what do you think the characters should look like? Right? Why on earth would you do that? Okay, so they're asking, what are you thinking? As if that person is mad. All right, so do you see the slight difference between the emotions and the personality of the speaker from these two lines? All right, so the first kid is probably just curious, just thinking why. Whereas the second is more on the exclaiming side. It's like, you're crazy to have done that, right? Okay, so this is a slight difference. And this will make your characters come alive if you plan these little things in your dialogue, all right? Exclaiming words, all right, the way your character phrases their speech, it affects the personality that your readers can see in your character. Let's take a look at some more examples. All right, try to identify the personality of each and every of these dialogues. All right, first coming up, may I have this, please? What do you think? What personality do you think this character has? We don't know if it's a he or she. We don't know their name, but you know how they talk. All right, Ariel says polite. All right, very good. Any other more obvious personality here? All right, 今天 very good. 今天 said this character is probably an introvert, and Muqing says the character's probably very nervous. Evangeline and Jingtian both said shy. Very good. This character is probably very shy, alright? He or she stumbles a little and uses question marks at the end of their request, alright? So a little pause and then please. Okay, probably very shy, probably an introvert, and also quite polite, alright? Because they're using the words please. Okay, please and mate, these are all quite polite words. Alright. Next dialogue. We should all go to the zoo tomorrow. What do you think? What kind of character are we looking at? What would be the personality? All right, excited. Excited is more on the emotion side. Think, what kind of character would be excited to go out with his or her friends, all right? Because it's we should all, right? So it's a lot of people, a group of people. What kind of character would be excited to go out with a group of people? Very good, all right? Someone who's enthusiastic, someone who's an extrovert, and very friendly. Very good answer, Ariel, all right? So we can simply say this person is very outgoing, all right? Extrovert, that's even better, okay? All right, next dialogue. I don't care. What do you think? I don't care. What do you think? If someone's speaking to this character and the character replied, I don't care. What do you think of that person? All right, Muting says rude. And Evangeline says he's probably annoyed. He or she's probably annoyed. Any other answers? All right, Honya says very rude. Okay, impolite says Jingtian. Irritated. Very good. All right. In fact, this character is probably very rude. We can stay with that. All right, being impolite here doesn't care what other people are talking about. All right, what about this one? You may have my seat. You may have my seat. All right, what do you think? This dialogue has a little, it kind of holds a little story in it, right? It will only occur under certain circumstances. All right, very good, Mu Qing. And very good, Hong Jie, and the real and Jing Tian. All right. Okay, you guys are saying kind and polite. Evangeline says polite. Jing Tian says polite. Okay, kind. Yes, kind and polite. This is probably happening on a train or on a bus where the character is offering a seat to someone else. All right, so it's an act of courtesy, and also it shows that the character is very polite. You guys are all correct. Kind will be accepted too. All right, what about this one? Shut up. You don't know what you're saying. What do you think? What do you think this character would, what kind of personality do you feel? All right, Muting says, rude. You are so rude. Why are you yelling at me? All right, Reiko. Hello, Reiko. Reiko says, rude. Ariel says this person's probably a bully. Okay, Evangeline says, very rude. All right, Jingtian thinks it's the person's probably frustrated. Okay, very good answers. All right, do note that in this case, this character is stopping someone else from speaking because they say, shut up, all right? Stop speaking. Because that character doesn't, the character thinks the other person doesn't know what they are saying. All right, probably very angry. Yes, the emotion is there. All right, emotion is there. Angry, frustrated, mad, these are all emotions. This person, however, someone who stops other people from finishing their speech, would be someone who's very hot tempered and someone who's very, very rude. All right, rude and hot tempered. Those are the personalities that we can see from this dialogue. Okay, contrary to that, if someone asks you, do you have any questions? What do you think? Do you think? Do you think this person is hot-tempered or rude? All right, Muqing says polite. Very good. Jingtian says probably very kind. Okay. Polite, says Rico. Very good. All right. And since they're asking if you have any questions, it's probably after they've explained some things, all right, or told you some things, and they're making sure that you understand. So it's also showcasing patience and considerate. Very good, Rio. Very good. All right, so these are personalities. And here I'm going to ask again, do you have any questions so far? All right, do you have trouble figuring out any of the characteristics here? No, right? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Muqing. Thank you, Jingtian. So see how dialogue, even on its own, can show personality. Okay, but sometimes there are some dialogue, some speech that requires a little more than just the speech itself. Okay, so a little bit more than just the words you say. All right. For example, it's all right, Tommy said with a gentle smile, compared to it's all right, Nick said through gritted teeth. Okay, so you see, we have the same speech here. All right, they're both saying it's all right, but they're saying it in a different manner. All right, they're having different actions. All right, they're performing different actions while they are speaking. Okay, so here's my question. Who do you think is really feeling all right? And who do you think is pretending to feel all right? Do you think that it's all right? Who do you think? Tommy or Nick? Who is really feeling all right? Who means it when they say it's all right? All right, very good, Ariel. Very good, Evangeline. Very good, Jingtian. Very good, Reiko. Very good, Hong Jie. All right, perfect. All right, everyone agrees. Tommy. right? Because Tommy is the one who is smiling gently, whereas Nick, through gritted teeth, well, he's probably still a little angry, or he probably isn't really alright, but is pretending to be. Yes, thank you, Muting. Right, thank you, Evangeline. Evangeline says Tommy has a good attitude. Tommy is smiling when he says it. So if and when the speech and your character's action match, when they match, you know that your character actually mean what they said. Alright, so make sure when you are writing characters, writing their speech and their speech tag and actions, make sure they are connected, make sure they are matched. Alright, so if the character is saying it's alright, they should be smiling. Alright, that's when you know they're actually really alright, they're relieved. Alright, so they mean what they say. We try to achieve that as much as we can. Alright, so speech and action should match if you are not creating crazy characters. Alright, so they are crazy characters whose speech and action won't match. But unless you are purposefully creating those types of characters, please avoid mismatched action and speech. Alright, okay. Some of you guys in creative writing classes may be able to create these types of characters. And also, if you're trying to create a sarcastic character, alright, someone who doesn't mean what they say, this is a trick you should know. If their actions and speech don't match, then they don't mean what they say. Usually the action tells more truth. Alright? Okay, but that's on the other side. Currently, we're focusing on having the speech and action match. So let's look at one more example. Okay, imagine this scenario. Sally apologized to her friend Lisa for breaking her favorite pencil. All right, so Sally made a mistake, and Sally apologized for her mistake. How do you think would Lisa react, all right, to the apology? Will Lisa say, "I forgive you"? Lisa hugged Sally. Or, "We are not friends anymore." Lisa hugged Sally. Or, "We are not friends anymore." Lisa glared at Sally and left. Or, "I forgive you." Lisa glared at Sally and left. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Which are the possible reaction or reactions that Lisa could have? All right. Okay. All right, so Evangeline says it's 1, all right. Rico agrees, Ariel agrees as well. Jingtian says 1 and 3. Sarah says 1 and 3. All right, Ariel, yes, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. All right, Hongjie says 1 and 3. Evangeline thinks 4 is also acceptable. All right, 4 would be "I forgive you." Okay, so she probably forgives Sally, but is still mad at the moment. Okay, that might be accepted on a rare circumstance where Lisa has quite a personality. So most of the time, the acceptable responses or the acceptable reactions, which make normal logical characters, would be 1, "I forgive you." Lisa hugged Sally. And 3, "We're not friends anymore." Sally glared at Lisa. Oh, sorry. Lisa glared at Sally and left. All right. So 1 and 3 would be the scenarios where the speech and the action actually match. All right. So if you're forgiving someone, you give them a hug. If you're not forgiving them, well, you probably would glare at them and just leave them to be. All right. So those are matching speech and actions. All right. That create logical characters, sensible characters, if you call them that. All right. Okay. So our key takeaway for today's class is that characteristics can be shown through speech and action. All right. So make sure to remember that you should show and not tell. Don't tell me my character is mad. All right. Don't tell me Sally did not forgive Lisa. Let Sally do the job. All right. Lisa. Lisa did not forgive Sally. Right, let Lisa do the job. Let Lisa say, "We are not friends anymore," glare at Sally, and leave. All right, don't tell your readers. Show it to them. Show them how Lisa refused to forgive Sally. All right, so that makes your characters come alive and that showcases your character's characteristic more. Okay, so that's the key takeaway for this session. As usual, we'll have a little short exercise. So, on the story of Steve and James, all right, we're closing up that story. Okay, so your homework this week would be pick from the following three reasons, all right, three motives why James punched Steve, and write a piece of dialogue to explain it from James' perspective, meaning that James is the one speaking and performing actions. All right, so the three possible reasons you can pick from. All right, first, James was hot tempered and attacked Steve first. All right, so it was James who started the fight for a reason that only James knew. Steve did not do anything wrong in the story. Okay, second, Steve was rude and pushed James first. All right, that's why James punched him back. Or three, there was a misunderstanding and James overreacted. All right, causing James to punch Steve in the face. Okay, sounds a little confusing. Let me show you an example. All right, so this is a sample answer. All right, tell us which reason you picked. All right, I picked reason 3. All right, I thought you were trying to push me off the court, James said, avoiding eye contact with Steve. Apparently, I was wrong. Sorry. All right. So it was a misunderstanding. James overreacted. James thought that Steve was trying to be rude and push him, where in fact Steve does not mean that. All right. So James would avoid eye contact because he feels sorry that he has misunderstood his friend and he would apologize. Okay. So this would be one simple answer. All right. Feel free to be creative. All right. Within the three reasons, feel free to be creative and write your own version for your homework. All right. This slide will be sent in our Telegram group, so don't worry, you don't have to copy down everything now. All right. Okay. And next week will be our final session. For the final session, we have so far found all the elements. Given that you guys complete your homework, we will have all the elements that we need in the story where James punched Steve. So let's see next week. Let's figure out how we can write it in a creative way. All right. We'll explore the different ways to structure a story, starting from the introduction, starting from the climax, and starting from the end. All right. So we will discuss different ways to structure our stories next week. Okay, so please complete your homework or at least have a think about it so you have your own reason for why James punched Steve so that you can enjoy the next session. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Nope. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So this is the code for the Telegram group. If you have not joined it, please scan the code and join. All right. You will need the Telegram application on your phone. All right. Okay, or install it on your computer. And once you scan that code, you will be redirected to a page where you can click join group. And voila, you will be in. Okay, so I'm leaving this page for a little while, all right? And in the meantime, the semester is coming to an end. We are coming to a holiday season. So we do have some holiday workshops, transitioning workshops, and workshops to really help you with building your fundamental skills, right? So if you're interested in any of these, if you're transitioning from P2 to P3 or P3 to P6, or if you are currently already P6, which I don't think any of us here are, all right, there are transitioning workshops to help you transit smoother to your next grade. And there's SG grammar courses available if you think you need a little more hammering on for your grammar. All right, beginners and intermediate target different levels. All right, if you can understand class so far, I think you would belong in the intermediate group. I don't really see a lot of you guys writing examples. So, all right, if you do wish to have Teacher Hetty take a look at your compositions and teach you more skills to write complete long compositions, feel free to also sign up for regular classes next year. All right. I personally will be teaching primary 3 and primary 5. For primary 4, it would be or famous teacher Tatum. All right, all very, very outstanding teachers, classes that you would definitely enjoy. All right, of course, we also have mathematics and science workshops for holiday and regular classes. So if you are interested in any of those classes, all right, regular lessons will be 1 to 1.5 hours long, all right, so a lot longer than our current session. If you do not have enough, join our regular sessions. All right, these are the upcoming holiday workshops I have introduced. All right, mathematics and science also available. P3 to P4, P4 to P5. All right. And if you want a free trial, please scan the QR code, this QR code on screen, to the trial sign up page for our regular classes. All right. Okay, so if you do not have any further questions, and I hope you've enjoyed our session today, feel free to leave the chat. All right. Have a good day. Bye bye, Jesseline. All right. Bye bye, Hongji. Bye bye, Muqing. Thank you. Good to know that you really enjoyed it. Bye bye, Reiko. Bye bye, Ariel. Bye bye. All right. Bye bye, Korean. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.